Hello and welcome to another episode of Euro 2020 Happy Hour with myself, Sham, otherwise known as FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup, and we're live! I did it the other way around this time.
Yeah, you're confusing me now. I'm who am I? I'm Rob, or otherwise known as at FPL Panda.
Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling much better today than I did yesterday. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
right.
So,
I'm over it now. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
yeah. So this is quarter-final night 2 preview. As we said yesterday, there's only 7 games left of the tournament, so not long to go. Yesterday we previewed the first half, or the top half, or the left half, whichever way you want to call it. And tonight we're going to preview the other half, or the bottom half. So we're going to be looking at the Czech Republic and Denmark and England and Ukraine. So without further ado, let me introduce you to two faces that you would have known if you watched the previews. That is Mate and our Czech rep, who is our Czech rep, and Morten, who is our Danish rep. Welcome both.
Thank you.
How are you?
Well, I feel great, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, after that Netherlands performance, I'm sure you are, Mate.
Yeah, I think every Czech feel great now after what we saw in Budapest. Really nice match.
And Morten, how are you doing after that? What is it? Probably call it a drubbing at Wales, that 4-0.
Yeah, it's the whole country is buzzing. To be fair, it's we're really expecting now.
Good stuff. Well, let me talk you guys through the agenda tonight. So we're going to be previewing the quarters first. Reviewing the games involving the 4 clubs first, and then we'll be previewing each of the last 2 quarters. We'll then be looking at Panda's pictures as we usually do, and then a further thought on our quarter-final teams and what it's shaping up to be, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So if you've got any questions, leave them to the end, and then we can get them covered. Right, let's first talk about the Czech Republic and Netherlands game. So, Mate, what was your thoughts about that game?
Well, I went there to Budapest, to be honest, so I saw the match live.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh,
Kept
wow.
that quiet in the chat.
Yeah. My feelings after the game were, it was just unbelievable.
Is it far from you? Is it far from the Czech Republic?
It's just like 5 to 6 hours by car, so not far away.
Oh, okay, that's not far at all. Yeah.
So brilliant experience, brilliant match. I think I couldn't complain about anything after all, after the match. And my thoughts were that it was a deserved victory in the end. After the first half, there was I think it was pretty square.
Really? I thought Netherlands bloody pumped you the first half, in my opinion.
Yeah, they had some chances. I know Dumfries was unreal. He made some pretty good chances for the Netherlands team. So many good centers and passes around the Czech goal. But in the second half, I think we were the better team after the De Ligt red card, especially. And I think in the end it was a deserved victory because, I think as you can saw, Netherlands, they didn't have a shot on target. So that I think is brilliant after what we saw from them in the group stage where they dominated against Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia. And I think, and I hope we can see more from this Czech team in the quarterfinals and potentially in semifinals and finals.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your group stage first. So obviously we've spoken to Morten about how Denmark did in the group stage in a previous stream. So, but I want to know from you, from a Czech Republic point of view, what was your thoughts on the group stage? Because you talked a lot about Patrick Schick before the tournament when we did the preview podcast, and you're bigging him up a lot, and he really played well for you, right?
Yeah, I think our main man in the group stage, it was definitely Patrick Schick, because he scored all the goals. 2 goals against Scotland, 1 against Croatia. It was from a pen, but obviously
I mean,
in quarter one.
The penalty one doesn't matter because the second one against Scotland makes up for it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think from the Czech team, the group stage was in overall, it was maybe a bit disappointing for some because I think in media, some of the Czech players, they were criticized for their performances. Typically, it was Darida, the captain, or Božil, who was then unavailable against Netherlands. But I think in overall, it wasn't a really. I think it was pretty average performances from the Czech team. I guess the win against Scotland, it was real nice, but I think defensively it wasn't good enough. I think Tomáš Vlastík, the goalkeeper, saved us from at least a draw there. It was really, I think we were on the better team there. Then the match against Croatia, we had a great first half where we scored a goal from a penalty, as you said, Patrick Schick. And then the second half, I think it wasn't really good, so deserved draw there. And the final match against England, it wasn't really, I think, a good one. England were a better team, and I think we didn't perform well there. But
I mean, some would say you were quite negative in that third game against England.
I think the Czech Republic, they expected more from the team. 4 points, yeah, it sounds great. It was we progressed into the knockout stages, but I think we expected something better from the team.
From what I can remember, you pre-tournament on the preview, you said you'd expect maybe 6 points to beat Scotland and beat Croatia.
There was I think a ceiling.
Probably drop points against England.
Yeah, I think it was a ceiling of the team, 6 points. Win against England seemed unreal, and I think still is. But I think after the group stage, I think people were satisfied with the points, but the performances, it wasn't really. I think the only player that was really good was Schick, and the defense was pretty great. We conceded just 2 goals. That was, I think, good. But in overall, the attacking side of the team, it's just Schick who scored all of the goals. So I think the Czech Republic wasn't real impressed with their performances. So
in the group stages, outside of Patrick Schick, who do you think really performed well for you? Because I can't think of any, like from a outsider, someone who doesn't know a lot about the Czech side. I can't think of anyone else who I would say was outstanding other than him. But maybe it's obviously different from your point of view.
The only player that I think was great was Tomáš Vlastík, but the goalkeeper against Scotland, I think he saved us. He saved a lot of difficult shots, but again, I have to say that some people said that the goal against Croatia, the Perisic shot, that he could have saved it. And against England, we lost. So
he did make a good save against Harry Kane, though.
Yeah, definitely. But
really strong left arm. Where some keepers might have taken a gamble, he's kind of stood his ground until Kane took the shot, and it meant that he was able to get that hand to it. I think it showed that he is a good keeper, and I think he was one of the. I mean, the performance against Scotland in the first game was brilliant from him. So I don't think you could be too harsh on him for the Perisic goal because of the performance against Scotland was potentially a match-winning performance for you.
Yeah, I think it was his match, despite the Schick brace. I think.
No one will remember what the keeper does when someone scores from 45 yards. Yeah,
he definitely was a player that sent us to the victory, But and also another player I'd like to mention is Vladimír Coufal from West Ham, because with one assist, I think he was the player that sent us through with his attacking game. Defensively, he was, I think, quite poor. Even against Netherlands, he made some mistakes, but all is forgotten now because he's I think he him and Sheikh, I think thanks to them, we are now in the quarterfinals because they are the only two players that were capable of doing something in a offensive part of the game.
Okay, let's talk to you, Morten, then about that Denmark win against Wales, 4-0. Was it a 4-0 game, or do you think that scoreline is, I guess, too much?
I would say it was a fair result.
Yeah, I agree. I
think we started off a bit not nervously, but Wales did come forward a few times, and Bale had a good effort after, I think was it 10-15 minutes from outside the box, who just went closely wide. But otherwise than that, I can't really remember. I think Schmeichel had one save as well, where they were through like a half through own goal at 0-0, which was an important save. But once Dolberg, he got the Dolberg, I should probably say it in Danish. Once he scored the first one, I think we were in complete control.
Okay. And so, who were your standout performers, would you say, in that game? Because I know, obviously, before the game, we would, I asked you which two players would you go for, and you said Damsgaard and Mahale. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Is it Mahale? Male. Okay,
Male.
just Mailer.
Yeah,
okay, so I'm thinking female, male. Is it just male? Just male.
Male, like with a hard L.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mailer.
So we've only been podding on this on the Euros for about 6 weeks now, and you still can't pronounce half the names.
No, I can't.
At least if England get to the final, you can pronounce half the names.
Harry Kane. So those are the two names that you tipped up. I think both of them delivered. Both of them returned. Was there anyone else? I guess not necessarily from a fantasy point of view, but from a footballing point of view, that you were really impressed with that game.
I think Simon Kjær did he was a rock at the back. He played really well and contained Kiefer Moore really, really nice. So he wasn't really in the game at all. I think from what I remember, he seemed quite frustrated with it. So he should have some credit, a lot of credits, Simon Kjær. And I also saw that he got the overall best player of the round of 16. So he should get some credit. And so obviously Dolberg starting his first match and then getting 2 goals. One which was.
You've cut out, Morten.
You've cut out there, Morten. We can't hear you. I'm going to go over back to you, Matej, just whilst Morten's sounds get sorted. It's getting sorted, I think, now.
It's better now?
Yeah, better now. Perfect. Okay. Good job you bought those spares, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so I was going to say, so you were saying about Dolberg.
I think, he obviously got the first goal. Really, he took that really well. A nice strike from outside the box. That was a beautiful goal. And then obviously Nico Williams gifted him the second. But he was there as the number 9, and he clinically struck it in. So that was really, really nice for his confidence. So those two, so Simon and Kasper.
Nice. It's interesting. I mean, this last Thursday or was it last Friday that you joined us, and like you said that out of that back three, Simon Kjær was probably the weak link, and then he went and proved you wrong.
I don't think I've said he was the weak link. That must have been from a fantasy point of view then.
Yeah. And I mean, was it a surprise for you? Like obviously, I think more or less everyone was surprised about with the Poulsen injury, because it seemed to have been kept very quiet. Do you think that was for tactical reasons, trying not to let the Welsh know, or did they just not know whether he'd be fit in time?
I read afterwards that he was injured in the training. I think it was the day before. So, and I didn't know before I saw the lineup either. I hadn't checked much either, but when I rechecked, then there wasn't much information anyways. So it must have been held quiet at some point, or of some sort. So it was a surprise that Dolberg started. But I mean, as we spoke about last time, it's hard to know who will start as number 9, and it's the same this time around, where Poulsen has been training now. But I mean, scoring 2 goals, it's going to be hard to bench him.
Yeah.
So it's really up in the air from what I can read, and the coach said the same.
What's the thoughts now in what's the kind of the media like, and the I guess the population of Denmark like with regards to the atmosphere around the Denmark team? Because obviously after the Eriksen injury, it was kind of like really, obviously everyone was downbeat and upset and hurt with obviously what's happened. Then obviously Eriksen, we think that he's now on the mend and getting better, and it almost felt like in that third game, you know, before you came on the stream last time, that there was momentum, and then obviously now you've gone and beat Wales 4-0. What's that atmosphere like now in Denmark?
It's absolutely buzzing. Everybody is backing the team, and you see the red shirts all over the city, and people talking about the team and how it's been this like, what do you say, fairy tale story where we meet some obstacles in the beginning, and then we push on as a team and as a nation, and then try to do the best we can. But Danish people in general, when it comes to football, are pretty jovial. So we set our bars really high, but at the same time, and we won't be too disappointed if it doesn't. I think we'll be disappointed if we don't come through to the semis now. But we would be over the moon just getting there, and then everything can happen, right?
Yeah.
People are really excited.
Because it's almost unreal, like, you know, when we did the preview podcast, you know, and not just from you, Morten, but from everyone, you know, Eriksen is your main man. It's almost like, you know, forget about how Harry Kane has played this tournament, but if the same thing happened, or let's say Harry Kane got injured in the first game, and he was out for the tournament for England, everyone would be like, oh my God, like, that's it, it's over. And it's almost like, you know, for Denmark, Eriksen is kind of your main person. I remember when we looked at the stats in the preview podcast, he had scored like pretty much all your goals.
Yeah.
So it's unreal how you guys have done without him.
And it just backs the kind of fairy tale story, because it reminds people of 92 when we won. We didn't have our best player either there. Michael Laudrup, he had retired from international football at that point due to a, what do you call it, like a spat with the coach. So people are comparing that to that time in 92 where we won it all and we didn't have our best player. So people are excited and really hopeful.
Right, so let's talk about the game tomorrow then. So, Matteo, how are you feeling about the game?
Well, to be honest, I really don't know.
Not tomorrow, sorry, Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think the game has a favorite team, but obviously the Denmark team is they're in a great mood. They are connected. They're fighting for Eriksen and so on. But I think two teams with similar styles will meet on Saturday, with passion for the game and great defense. Denmark showed that they can score goals against Wales, so the attacking game is I think better than the Czech team. But I really don't know. To be honest, I'd like to say that the Czech team will win, but I ain't really sure.
All right. So from a fantasy point of view, should we be looking at anyone from the Czech Republic?
From the Czech Republic team is definitely going to be Patrik Schick, because he has to be really confident now after 4 goals he scored in previous matches. I think he's in really good form. Can score from basically everything. We saw it against Scotland that he's capable of great things.
So is that you predicting like another goal like against Scotland?
I'd like to see definitely another goal from Patrick Schick, but I think it's going to be tough for him again because the Denmark defense is really good. And I think we are really pretty much. I think we rely on Schick goals now, and I think the Denmark defense will be really cautious about him. So he'll definitely well guarded, and I don't think he'll have it easy. But he's a great striker, so definitely he can score.
So if you were going to get one Czech player, that would probably be the best output. Do you think Soufal's worth a shot? Do you think that Czech have what it takes to keep out that Denmark attack that scored 4 against Wales?
I think everything is possible now. It's quarterfinals, but yeah, so far he's he was really dangerous against Netherlands with his centers and passes. I think Souček has been quiet for a while now, so maybe he can score too. As I said in a preview, our strong game is the set pieces and stuff, and Souček, from West Ham, from the Premier League, that he's capable of scoring goals, that he's a really dangerous player in the opposition box, so he can score. And another player I'd like to mention is Tomáš Holeš. He's on fire after that Netherlands win with a goal and an assist. I remember that in a preview podcast I said that he's not likely to start, but Alex Kral, he was out of form, so Holeš replaced him in the starting 11, and I think now he's really great asset. He's capable again.
Only 4.5 as well, right?
Yeah, he is. So he can score a goal, he can assist. Yeah, the tackle on, I think Wijnaldum, it was against the Netherlands, and then the assist, it was unbelievable. So I would like to mention him too.
Morten, how do you think the game is going to go? Is it going to be like the England-Germany game, very tight, or do you think it's going to be like the France and Switzerland game where we get loads of goals?
I think it's going to be pretty tight. I think it'll be nervous from the beginning. So maybe the first goal then will settle the match, or it will show who's going to progress into the semifinals. But on the other end, it can go the way the France and Switzerland went, because obviously maybe the teams, they are not really experienced with these quarterfinals and semifinal stuff. I think Denmark wasn't in quarterfinals for since 2004. I think we beat them in the quarterfinals, so since then maybe.
That's correct.
We don't really know.
Morten, what do you think?
I think from a team point of view, like an overall quality, I think we have a small edge. But as you mentioned, the Czech side is really closely knit as well. So I think it's going to be two teams that really has a clear game plan. So there is a chance they'll cancel each other out at some point, or at least during the first half hour. From a Danish point of view, I think it's important that we cut off the Soufal crosses for Schick or Souček. Those are the main areas I see, and then obviously set pieces to Schick and Souček as well.
How have you been with defending set pieces this tournament, in your opinion? I know, not asking for statistics or anything, but just from your opinion, do you think you've defended well from corners and stuff? Have you conceded any from corners?
From my memory, I don't think we've conceded from corners. I think the Finland was a cross. The Finland goal was a cross. The two Belgium was more counterattacks where we made some defensive errors. And then the Russia was a dubious penalty. And so we haven't conceded from set pieces. And usually we have both Kjær, Vestergaard, and Christensen, and Delaney as well, who are really good in the air.
All very good in the air, yeah.
Yeah, so we're pretty stacked on that point. But on an offensive side, I think it's a positive mention that now all of our attackers, like Braithwaite, got Poulsen, Dolberg, Damsgaard, they've all scored. So we've shared the goals. So we're not that dependent on a single superstar or a goal getter like Schick, which I'm sure we have a game plan for closing that down. Hopefully we can control the game. I see it as a 60-40 for Denmark.
I mean, it's quite interesting how you said about the threat of Sufal. Do you think this is a new test for Mæhle in that fullback role to get forward still like he has been brilliantly, but also just have one eye on Sufal, because the moment Czech win the ball, Sufal's going to be running past him. Do you think it's going to be a new test for Mæhle, and do you think he'll be able to deal with that coming?
Yeah, I mean he plays for Atalanta, so he knows he's used to getting back and forth on the sidelines for 90 minutes, and he's got a proper engine, so he can run for days. So I'm not really worried about that. It's just more of cutting off his crossing opportunities. I don't think it'll be an issue as such.
I mean, it's probably vice versa for Sufal as well. Like they'll be just as concerned of each other, really, because they know how much of a threat each other are.
They need to look over their shoulders.
But it should be a really interesting matchup on that side of the pitch.
Have you heard any news? Have you guys got any injury news? Any updates from that point of view, or any news on whether or not Poulsen or Dolberg might be starting? Because I know a lot of people want to know about that.
I haven't heard anything definitive, but Hjulmand, our coach, he said that everybody is expected to be fit. So Poulsen and Kjær has been training some parts with the team and some off just by themselves to check, just for precautions. But he says everybody is expected to be available.
And do you think that Dolberg will start ahead of Poulsen, in your opinion?
Due to the 2 goals, I think he'll start, and then because of Poulsen's minor issue here, I think he'll come off the bench but at some point, even if it's 0-0 or we're behind, or if we're in front, I think he'll come on. I think all of them will get their time.
Obviously, out of all of the games, a lot of people are looking at Denmark to beat Czech Republic. People may be on a lot of people are on Mæhle. Some people may be on Damsgaard. If people have got those 2 options, do you think there's anyone worth investing in as a third option, or not?
From a wildcard perspective, I think you could make an argument for Vestergaard at centre back. He's really good in the air and could nick a goal from a set piece. And then you have the choice of seeing if maybe a small gamble on Dolberg starting again. But otherwise on that, I think Braithwaite could be an option. He's gotten some confidence back, and I saw he was the player with, was it the second most dribbles in the Euro so far? I know he's in the first few games he had some issues with finishing, not hitting the target. But I'm sure his goal versus Wales will, he'll pick up confidence for sure.
And what if you don't have a wild card?
Then
don't buy, don't sell.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of mindset you would want to approach, I think.
Okay, right. So let's get down to the nitty gritty then. I want a prediction. What do you think the score is going to be? Matthias, we'll go with you first.
Well, hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to penalties after 0-0 or 1-1, something like that. But yeah, my guess will be 1-1. Penalties will decide.
And who will win on penalties? Or are you sitting on the fence?
how to say? I think we don't have really great penalty takers, but fingers crossed. I guess Czech Republic win on penalties. That's
okay.
Yes.
Morten?
Yeah, I was thinking about 2-1, but I have to back us having a clean sheet, so I'm going with 1-0 instead.
1-0. Okay. And Rob?
I'm going to go 2-0 Denmark. Sorry, Matej.
I'm going to go 1-0 Czech Republic.
Because you just always have to go to the opposite of me.
No, do you know what it is? It's because I've got to back my boys Souček and Soufal.
Okay, yeah.
I've got to back them. My hammers.
I mean,
I've got to.
for me, at the moment, from what we've seen from Denmark, we've seen that they can control a game and they can score goals. My issue with Czech is the three centre halves for Denmark, whether they just do what they did to Kiefer Moore, to Patrick Schick. That will probably be their plan. And then is there enough from, can players like Souček and that get forward enough to really cause an issue? I'm just not sure whether it'll be enough. So I've got to back Denmark.
Okay, let's now review the other game in this half of the draw. We'll go with England and Germany first for the, well, so it's a preview of the England and Ukraine, but we'll look at the England-Germany game. Rob, what did you think of this game?
I've watched it back a couple of times now. First time I had to watch it back because I thought I was just drunk and I didn't realise what had happened. But yeah, I was able to kind of take it in a bit more because you're not so emotionally invested in it. And I think we've seen an England side that has really grown up. There was the small lapse of concentration from Sterling when we were 1-0 up, where Muller went through and then he missed. But then I thought there was a great moment after that, that you saw in the replays, and Sterling had dropped to his knees in relief, and Kieran Trippier and Declan Rice run over. They pick him up, give him a pat on the back, tell him head on, and that was it. His game face was back on. He wasn't thinking about the mistake anymore. He was thinking about, right, what can I do next in this game? And then a couple of minutes later, England went on and scored the second goal. And I think in previous years in that sort of game, I think England would have gone ahead and then played within themselves and played with a bit of fear. We spoke with James pre-tournament about how we take the lead in games and then we'll just hoof the ball up the pitch, which we didn't see that. We saw them trying to work the ball out of the defence, moving it into the midfield, getting it away from the goal, but keeping control of it. And it was just a maturity that I hadn't seen in an England side for a long, long time. I don't think I've ever seen a maturity like that in such a big knockout game from an England side. And yeah, it was nice to see. It was impressive. I think the first 15, 20 minutes, they were nervous. I think the occasion, at one point, I was like, oh my God, the occasion's going to get to them. Because the atmosphere, you could tell, they hadn't experienced that sort of atmosphere in an England shirt, knowing that there's however million, I think it was about 40 million people watched it on BBC or something crazy like that. So knowing that there's that many people behind you and everyone's depending on you, and I think it just took them 15, 20 minutes to settle down into that. And then once that was over, they pretty much, I'd say they didn't control the game. The Germans had a lot of possession throughout the game, but when they had the ball, there was a purpose with the ball. And it was, let's get the ball forward and let's try and attack. And Germany had what, two 2 good chances. I wouldn't class the Havertz volley as a...
I would say 3 good chances.
I wouldn't class the Havertz volley as a good chance, though.
Really? I would.
It's not.
As soon as it came to him, it wasn't 20 yards out.
He's 20 yards out. He's outside the penalty area. No, he was outside the penalty
box.
No, you couldn't see. You couldn't see him from the third tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when it dropped
20
to him,
yards out.
When I saw it and it dropped to him straight away, I was like, "Fuck." Like, so to me, that's why I saw it as a good chance, because as soon as it dropped to him, I could see that, oh my God, this has got a good chance of going in.
I mean, if he was going to hit it, for it to have a good chance of going in, it would have had to have been left or right, but it was pretty central and it might have been going over. But we'll never know whether it will go over. So, but yeah, so there was 2 big chances. There was the Muller miss, which I think every Englishman in the country, it's like head was in hands and heart in mouth. But yeah, and then there was the Werner miss. And the moment Werner went through on goal, I think you kind of thought he doesn't believe that he can score in that situation, and you kind of backed Pickford in that way, because Pickford has generally played with quite a lot of confidence through the tournament so far. So yeah, I enjoyed watching it back. I didn't enjoy watching it live. It was the worst experience for 70 minutes of that game. It was the worst experience of football in my life. But yeah, for watching it back and seeing that maturity in the way you played, it was great to see.
Morten, what was your opinion? But as a non-bias.
It will probably be a bit unpopular, but I thought the game was more even than at least FPL Twitter made it out to be. I agree that England were good on the ball, but they were really, really cautious, and the Müller miss was just unbelievable. I was sure, okay, now they're gonna equalize, but there wasn't too many chances. But I think, it's a bit part of England's. They defended really well, as they've been doing all tournament, and then the lack of confidence in the German team. They don't really seem so coherent as you usually see at German side. So from that point of view, they were a bit disappointing. But I still think the game as such was pretty even. But I agree, if there had to be a winner, I think it was fair enough that England took it.
And Matej, what did you think?
Well,
do you agree with Morten or
yeah, I'd agree. It was pretty much a great tournament performance from England. This is the style of play that wins you a big tournament like Euro. Great defense, waiting for your opportunities and then convert them, as Sterling and Kane did. I think German team wasn't really. I think after the announcement of Flick, they are now just waiting for him to take charge of the team, and they were not really. They were not 100% concentrated for the tournament, and they're just waiting, for a change after 15 years of Joachim Löw at the charge. So great win for England, but I think still some way to go if they want to win the Euros.
Before I give my opinion on the game, because I was at the game, and I'll cover what my thoughts were, I want to ask each of you, Morten and Matej, do you fear England? Did that performance, so obviously, if either of you, whichever one of you wins, may play England if England win, did that performance kind of make you think, oh shit, I don't want to play England? Or was it a case of, actually, I would be more than happy to play England because we can beat them? I'll go to you, Morten. What did you think?
I mean, from a semi-final perspective, I'd be happy to draw England, to be fair. They're good defensively, and I know they can explode with Sterling and Kane. And if Grealish plays, he's really tricky. But did I just?
You go. Yep. I don't know what happened there.
Everyone's still there?
If you can hear me.
Yeah. I think we're live, but we lost
lost your
some
camera.
pictures.
Yeah,
Have we lost my camera?
Yeah, we'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Cameras don't matter.
All right.
Yeah, but just to sum up, no, I don't think it would insert fear into not at least not the Danish population anyway.
And Matteo, what about you? Is there fear from your perspective about facing England, or would you like, for example, would you rather face Italy or Belgium rather than England?
Oh, I think the key factor there is that England's going to play in front of 60,000 English people at Wembley again in the semi-finals. So yeah, I'd rather play Belgium or maybe even Italy. Because, yeah, obviously, England will play at home, and that's always a good thing for the home team. And they'll have support of their own fans, so...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just in terms of my opinion of the game, so obviously I was at the game. Rob, you covered most of it very, very well. The feeling from the crowd, so I would say the first 20 minutes, similar to what you had said, I don't think we got a foothold in the game. We were nervous. But after that, I think from my perspective and watching, we controlled the game quite well. The thing that was frustrating is we could see that we didn't think we were in a good place. We didn't think that we would concede, but also I couldn't see where the goal was coming from, because as soon as Sterling got the ball, it just felt everyone was isolated. Saka didn't get much of an opportunity. And the only way that I thought we were going to score was from a corner at that time, right? The first 65 minutes before Jack Grealish came on, I thought, I can't see us scoring any other way here, because we didn't really have any good opportunities. At that point, I think Germany had the better opportunities than us.
I mean,
before Jack, I can't think of one standout opportunity that we had other than from corners.
I mean, I don't think the team that started that game was expected to go out and score goals. I think that team was expected to keep the game tight and controlled for an hour, and then
which is what we did.
Yeah, and then after an hour, like literally, it was almost spot on the hour. You saw Jack Grealish putting his boots on, and it was like it wasn't an obvious game plan, but the moment the lineup was spotted, like I said to the people I was with, like he wants to control the game for an hour, and then after an hour, then bring on the creativity and really then go at them, because that German side will be there for the taking, because they'll be frustrated, maybe feeling even more nervous with the England fans getting more and more confident the longer that Germany don't score. So I thought it was the kind of game plan all along.
I think I said it a couple of streams ago. This England side isn't the side that we try and be expansive like we've tried in previous tournaments and failed. This is a type of side that will grind it out and get the odd 1-0, 2-0 victory. And those types of sides and those types of things are what wins tournaments. I don't know if you guys heard it from... I don't know if it was loud enough, but on about 65 minutes, I would say probably maybe 5 minutes before Jack Grealish came on, the whole crowd was singing "Super, Super Jack," like trying to get Southgate to bring in Jack Grealish.
That's not good. He's not going
to hear that.
You could hear it, but that's not going to make Southgate bring him on.
Of course it's not. No, of course it's not. But
he was probably warming up.
Was that visible?
Yeah, you could hear it on the TV.
And then I would say, like, it was mad when Jack Grealish came on. The crowd went nuts because this is what we wanted. And then I just thought after that it was all us. We played really, really well. I was absolutely shitting it when Muller was 1-on-1. I thought, oh God, Raheem, what have you done? You scored a good goal, and then you fucked it up. But yeah, the atmosphere overall was amazing. It was such an honor to be at that, 45,000 in the crowd, and it was just amazing to be there. And obviously I've got tickets for the final as well, so I'm hoping that we can go all the way again, and I'll be there for the final to watch that game. But yeah, sorry, go on, Rob, what were you going to say?
No, it's I think that last sort of 10-15 minutes was just, I think, incredible. It was, like I said before, it was a maturity. The way that both goals, the way that the ball was worked, it didn't feel like it was forced. It was just it was all very simple. Just simple short passes, short pass, cross, goal.
But that's what their energy. But do you think, right? So this is my question: is do you think if Jack Grealish had started, so he came on 65, 70 minutes, whatever it is, and he changed the game. Although he wasn't involved in both goals, like he was the assister for one of them, I believe, and then he was the assister for the second goal. He gave that energy. He gave that, I guess, creativity that we were lacking. Now, if he had started instead of Saka, do you think that we would have played like that throughout the whole game, or do you think that only happened because he came on when Germany were tired and it was the last 20 minutes?
No, but it wouldn't have been like that for the whole game. Like, we wouldn't have been tearing through the German defence for 90 minutes. Like I said before, I think that the team that was, when we've seen this in every game so far, the team that's been selected is the team that Southgate thinks will win that football match. And it's nothing. He doesn't do it on what the fans think. He doesn't do it on player reputations. Because otherwise you'd see Foden, Sancho, Grealish all starting, and there's the reason they're not all starting is because Southgate didn't feel that formation was that lineup would have been the right thing to do to start the game. And I don't think we can really question it, because tactically he got it perfect again. There's still the obvious questions, like in the Scotland game, but maybe that Scotland game he learnt a lot about how the team is, and then the Czech game, I think it was a good performance in the first half. The second half was relatively poor, but I think that was kind of down to the negativity of the Czech side more than the England side. I think he learned a lot from the group stage. That's done. It was dusted, and then he's coming to the knockout stage, and he's just given us everything we've ever wanted, and that's to beat Germany in a knockout game at a major tournament. And I can't question the lineup or the tactics, because I think he got it spot on.
Right, let's look at the Sweden-Ukraine game. Let's quickly discuss that before we go back to England versus Ukraine. So Sweden-Ukraine, Matteo, did you watch the game?
Yeah, I saw it all.
What did you think of it? Because everyone was predicting a Sweden win, and obviously Ukraine came out on top.
Yeah, to be honest, I also expected Sweden to go through, but I think the key factor there was that in the overtime, the Swedish player was sent off, and even in the first half, I think the Zinchenko goal was really important for the game, because after that Sweden had to equalize, which they did in the end of the first half, and after that I think it was both sides, they were pretty cautious. No one wanted to concede another goal, so we went into the overtime, and then I think after the Danielsson from Sweden was sent off, I think then it could either go to penalties or Ukraine could score a goal, which they did in 120 minutes, and I think they deserve it after the first match against Netherlands, where they played really, really great in the second half. I didn't really like them in a match against Austria, where they could go to second place, where they could secure a second place finish in a C group. But in the end, I'm really happy for them to reach the quarterfinals. I think it's a great satisfaction for them. After they, I think, after they troubles at the last tournaments. I think where in the Euro 2016 they were pretty much, and also I heard something about that there were some troubles historically between Dynamo Kiev and Shakhtar Donetsk players. I think now they have a great side, and I would really love them. I would really love to see them progress to the semifinals. But I think against England they'll have it difficult.
Morten, was there any players from a Ukrainian point of view that you thought played really well in that game, or you think would be worth keeping an eye on against England?
I just think I can't really remember anything.
All I remember about that game was from a Ukrainian point of view was that the whole squad got injured at some point. That's all I remember.
That's true. But no, I don't really recall any. I didn't watch it 100%, so I can't really recall any Ukraine players. But what I would add to the game is that I was surprised by the approach of Sweden. They've been really a defensive side for many years, but they came out with trying to play offensive football with Isak and Kulusevski and the Forsberg. They surprised me a bit with their approach, and I think they did really well. And they got a bit lucky with their goal from the deflection. But I mean, Forsberg could easily have 2 more.
Yeah, he hit the bar twice, right?
Yeah, post and bar. Yeah.
Rob, anything to add on this game from you, or were you too drunk at this point? Anything in addition to what Matej and Morten have said? Yeah.
That's not for discussion, is it? It was a clear red. I had some discussions with somebody on Twitter. It's just it's unbelievable that people say it's not a red card. It doesn't make any sense.
Right, so let's look at the England-Ukraine game from a fantasy perspective then. And Morten, I'll come to you first. Where are you looking at here? I assume England players, and if so, who?
Yeah, I think almost most of the English assets are interesting. I'm seeing a pretty comfortable win for England, and I don't think they'll concede.
Have you got your wild card still?
No.
So who are you going to be bringing in?
I'll get Harry Kane, and I think it was Luke Shaw. I'll be getting in.
Because it's quite interesting. A lot of people I'm hearing are bringing in Kane rather than Sterling. Matej, what do you think about that? Who do you prefer, Kane or Sterling?
Well, I have Sterling in my team, so I think he's on form. He scored three goals. Yeah, 3 goals. So I'm gonna go with Sterling, but having Sterling and Kane, I think maybe this is the time that England's gonna score more than 1 goal, maybe 2 or 3. So there's a possibility of Kane and Sterling scoring, but maybe it's a bit of a risk, so I wouldn't be too sure about it.
Rob, your thoughts, money aside, literally just Kane versus Sterling. Who'd you pick? Okay, if you can only have one. Kane. Interesting. I think the question for people that don't have their wild card, a lot of people are, even with their 3 free transfers, struggling to get to 11 players. So people are thinking about taking hits to even get to 11. Do you think, Morton, that it's worth taking a -4 for any England players?
I think it would be okay to pick Harry Kane for a -4 if you're going to captain him as well. I know you can get a captain haul on the day one instead, and then you would be hesitant to switch. But I think that would be okay. However, and I think the game, just to continue on your points, that this Ukraine game is more a game for Kane than Sterling, because I expect Ukraine to be a lot deeper, so Sterling won't have too much space to run into. So I think it will be interesting to see how England cope when they're gonna try and control the game and not just control it in the midfield, but also having to get forward and unlocking a defense.
I wouldn't say very well, Ukraine have been looking quite good from an attacking point of view, especially in the group stages, Rob. Well, Netherlands, they scored 2 against Netherlands. Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't do that if you're not fielding 11 players, right? But if you can already field 11 players, then if you take a, then you wouldn't do it. Yeah, I agree.
Right. Before we move on, has anyone got anything else to add on England versus Ukraine? Nope. Okay. Right, Rob, over to you. Let's look at Panda's pictures. Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob, a few people in the chat are saying that they can't hear you very well.
Oh, try that now. I'm sure they can hear me now. So yeah, a budget Mbappe with his JD bag there as well. That's it for. There was the meme that you wanted me to put up with the Leonardo DiCaprio with the German girl crying. I couldn't do it. I think it was I thought I've been in that situation. I was how old would I have been? I'd have been 8 years old when we lost in Euro '96, and I was like that girl in the crowd in my living room at home, and yeah, I wouldn't have appreciated my face to be made into a meme at 8 years old. So I'm not gonna put that girl through it as well. So I'm being the bigger man.
I was listening to someone earlier on YouTube where they were talking about this, right? So they were saying, this is the snowflake generation where everyone gets offended by all these things. Similar to what you said, Rob, where you said, you were that kid when in '96 crying, and he was saying he was that kid, and it was just the way that life is, and blah blah blah. And he said, if she was to come in front of me, I would happily drink her tears in front of her.
Fucking hell.
We're in the snowflake generation. What does it matter? We went through this all, and so yeah, I just found that.
I think there's winning, and then there's winning gracefully, and then there's being a dick, and I'd rather win gracefully, because we should be better than that.
Right, let's move on then to reviewing our teams, our initial teams for the quarterfinals. Obviously, the games are tomorrow, and there still may be some changes, but let's just go through our initial thoughts and what we're thinking. Lots of hits, or maybe not. Who's first?
So up first, we got Matej.
Matej, go for it. What's your thoughts for the quarters? Who are you looking to bring in, and are you taking any hits?
Well, I still might use my wild card.
Oh, you still got your wild card?
Yeah, he's got his wild card, and he's got 13 men still in the tournament.
Oh my god!
Oh my word!
I was pretty lucky during the first knockout stages because I had, obviously I had Suchek.
I just thought this was a locked-in team. Oh my word!
So are you still in the rep cup, the rep competition?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No? Oh, right, okay.
I got it.
I was going to say, if you were, then whoever you're against is in trouble. No, sorry, go on, Matej.
Yeah, so as you can see, I am still not sure about I'm not still sure about my forwards. As you can see, I have still Immobile and Lukaku. The captain armband, I think I'll change it to Immobile. Maybe I'm gonna change it to Sterling. I still don't know. Gerard Moreno, I don't think he'll start, so maybe that's gonna be another thing. I'll have to solve in my wild card. I'm pretty confident about my defense though. Male and Cher, I say that they might keep a clean sheet. Same goes with Luke Shaw and Leonardo Bonucci. And the midfield, the Souček one I think it's more about being a Czech than anything else. And Ferran Torres, he really impressed me against Croatia, so I might keep him. And Raheem Sterling, he's I think the player I'm definitely gonna keep.
This is unbelievable because you basically, like, you kind of have to use 2 of your transfers, don't you? Really? So I think you can only carry 1 over. So you'd have them 4 transfers for the semi-final. So maybe would you think about moving? I mean, Nego, it's going to be almost impossible to get anyone in for him. But Mount, would you think about moving him out? Maybe Hradecky, just to give you a double shot at. Although I'm not sure how your budget will be looking to be able to get Simon for Hradecky and someone in for Mount. Would you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I still have some money in bank, so I might change it a little bit. But I have to think it through tomorrow.
Yeah. Wow. I was not. I think when I uploaded your picture, I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, he's already locked his team in. I didn't realise this is how your team fell off the round of 16 with 13 players still in the tournament. That's crazy, and a wild card in hand. That's absolutely mad. Right, on to Morton, who is in good shape as well. Oh no, you've made this is locked in though, isn't it? This team.
Yeah, it is. If the picture is switching.
What were your changes then, Morton?
I brought in Kane and was it Shaw and then Chiesa. And I think England is quite self-explanatory. We've been over that, but I think Chiesa has a good chance of starting, and then Berardi will probably come on for half an hour. And I think, it's just to get that Italy coverage. I didn't really know who to get in instead of Chiesa. I wasn't really fancying any other Danish midfielders than Damsgaard, and no Czechs, obviously. And then you just have the Italy-Belgium game. I fancy that Italy would go through. So it was kind of just a bet then that I wouldn't have to transfer him out again or them out again for the next round.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's have a look at your team then, Sham. What are you planning to do?
So I've got 6 players playing plus KDB. So there is rumours now that
he's flown with the rest of the team.
Yeah, that he's flown with the rest of the team. Well, I don't know if that's a rumor or confirmed, but we believe that he's flown with the rest of the team.
Him and Hazard have,
and from what Joachim said, when Witsel was injured, or there was someone else as well that was injured, they didn't fly with the team. So there's a possibility that he plays. Now, I want to bring in Kane and Sterling, but I can't bring them both in without taking out KDB.
Oh, so budget.
Because of budget, right? So two pretty much locked in is Morata and Stones or Maguire. Haven't decided in which one yet. So those 2 are definitely coming in. Most likely, depends on the team tomorrow. If Moreno starts tomorrow, I can bring in Moreno and Sterling and Kane. But if he doesn't, then it would just be I'll bring in Morata. And then my other option, then it's literally a pick between bringing in Sterling or Kane. I can afford both. So I can afford bringing in a Kane. Sorry, as in I can afford either one, but not both of them. So that would bring me 9 plus KDB. And then it's just a case of, do I take a hit to bring in another English player? That I'm not sure. I think I'm hoping Moreno starts tomorrow, because if Moreno starts tomorrow, then I'll bring in Moreno instead of Morata, and then I'll be able to bring in Kane and Sterling and Moreno and Maguire or Stones for a -4. I understand where you're coming from in terms of bringing in an English defender for a hit, but personally, I'm not sure, because essentially it's 6 points, really. Maybe they get an attacker in turn, but it's 6 points. So you're making
2 points.
2. Yeah. So you're making 2 points. But there is a possibility that
2 points is better than no points.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee. I think Ukraine could score. That's the thing, right? I still think, out of all the assets, defensive assets, Stones or Maguire is worth bringing in out of all of the ones.
Oh yeah, there's huge value in those two. We spoke about we spoke about it briefly last night about the possibility of Shaw maybe being rotated for Chilwell. Although there was, I watched there was the Lions Den, which is like a live interview with Luke Shaw this afternoon, and he didn't look like a player that had found out that he's been dropped yet. So I'd probably take that back now. He looked like a player that's full of confidence, which means you'd think he'd still be playing. So yeah, all right. On to my team.
Well, just quickly, just a couple of questions to you, Rob. What you think? Firstly, do you think it's worth? So if I take a -4, it would be 10 plus KDB. Firstly, do you think it's worth taking out KDB?
No.
For Kane, for example, or Sterling, so that I could have both.
Yes.
Yes.
Only because I think that KDB won't. I think he won't start, but he might make an appearance. But I think that Italy will win. So it's almost like just doing that, taking that transfer. Yeah, you're going to be spending 4 points on it, but you're going to be taking that transfer around early. Because then I think then it's almost unavoidable to make that sort of move, especially if England did win and won convincingly. Then you'd find it pretty hard not to make that move, surely, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And then second question, do you think it's worth going from a -4 to a -8 to have 11 plus KDB?
I think an 11. If you weigh up the
including
chances
KDB or not including KDB?
11 including KDB, yeah.
That's a -4.
That's a -4, and a -8 not including.
Yeah, so I could do a -8, so it would be 11 plus KDB.
Yeah, I'd do that. I'd say you'd basically, because you'd start KDB, and then you'd sub him out, surely, because you've then got 12 players, haven't you? Yeah, I'd do that.
I'll think about it. Right, Rob, let's go on to your team.
Coming from you, that's supposed to be the maverick here.
Yeah, but also this is FPL. This isn't FPL, and I think there's less chances of there's no bonus points. I think -4 is if it was like a -3 or a -2 for a transfer, then yeah, but there's less opportunities, which is why I'm not sure. Anyway, go on. Let's go on your team.
So I'm taking I think at the moment I'm taking a -8. So I'll be bringing in Sarabia, Sterling, Immobile, and Kane, and Stones. Sarabia, Stones, Sterling, Kane, Immobile. Yeah. Which would give me 14. No, 13.
Wow, so you're taking hits to bring in additional players for your bench?
Am I taking hit? Yeah, I'll probably take -4. Oh no, I've taken a hit to squeeze in Kane.
All right.
I've taken the extra hit to squeeze in Kane. But because I had to have a hit to free up the budget for it. This is just where I'm sitting at the moment.
Yeah.
And that gives me two. Like, I think that Spain could potentially, like, we've seen their form through their last two games, and Sarabia has been, you'd argue, that one of the players of the tournament in those two games alone. He's been brilliant. So I've kind of got to back him, because at 6.7 it's like inevitable. Really, he's just still so cheap. Sterling obviously showing good form in front of goal. And I think it's tough to go and back another sort of premium midfielder other than him at the moment, because I've already got Insigne. I've got Berardi there, who I think I'm going to have to live with. I'm not going to be rushing to move him out for Chiesa. Stones that's the maybe one where I might not make that move, and might not bring in Stones, because I've already got Pickford and Maguire, and I'll probably be going with a triple up on England defence, which I'm still backing us to keep a clean sheet, but I'm just not sure. Like you say, about taking the extra hit for an extra benched player. And Harry Kane and Immobile, they've both proven that. I think Immobile, especially, he's going to get chances against that Belgian defence. And I'm backing Harry to kick on after the goal at the end of the Germany game.
Okay, right, guys, I did put it in the chat. If you've got any questions, pop them in quickly whilst Rob goes through what we've got coming up and some updates. We'll get those questions answered once he finishes, if you've got any questions, that is. Rob?
So quickly, last night we went through the mini league, but I didn't update everyone on the Reps Cup that's been going on, where each of our reps has been representing their nation. Are either of you still in the competition?
I don't think they are you?
Morten, Matej, are you either of you in the competition still?
No, I'm not.
No. So we had at James CC. Oh, it's rushed through. So Alex Sin of North Macedonia is going to be playing Belgium, and at Joachim Jeans the quarterfinals. Italy, James CC 1234 will be playing at FPL Gold 1 of Sweden. In the other quarterfinal, let's see if it scrolls through. I haven't got the rest of the graphics. Who else is there? I'm going to quickly find the tweet. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll find the tweet with the draw.
I can see it on here. Oh no, that's North Macedonia. I've got the tweet up here. So we've got FPL Wombat against
of Turkey.
Against at Ivanov Zakai against Russia. So you've got Russia against Turkey, and then Italy against Sweden, which you discussed already. And then we've got our Ukrainian rep at FPL Ukraine playing at Planet FPL Pod James, England. So that was Ukraine and England, which is quite interesting because we've got Ukraine and England in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, that's the only match where like the teams are exactly as they are in the draw. Like there's not even any. I think only Belgium and Italy are the only other teams that have got to this stage in the Reps Cup. So they'll be battling it out over the quarterfinals. I'm not sure which reps have still got their wild card left. They might be asking Matej to swap teams with him.
I think Matej, have you got your Limitless as well? So I think I saw on the thing just now you had your Limitless as well, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, got both.
So surely then might wildcard the semi-finals and then go limitless in the final and just play.
Yeah, I guess.
Just back whichever team you think. Just put their 11 out, and yeah, give yourself team to support for the game.
Right, Rob, any other update?
So we've got there's the 2 nights off now. And then on Sunday evening, it'll probably be a bit later than normal because it's a Sunday and family time. So probably at 10 o'clock on Sunday evening, we'll be previewing the first semi-final of the tournament. So it will either be James, the Italy rep, coming back, or it'll be Joachim, the Belgium rep, coming back, and God, who's playing? Or it'll be either of the guys that joined us last night, which were Raul and
Nicola,
the Spanish and Swiss reps. Then on Monday evening, and this one will be possibly at an earlier time of 7 o'clock, depending on who is in the semi-final. And we'll have either at FPL Ukraine, the Ukraine rep, or at Planet FPL Pod, the England rep, and we'll have one of you two guys joining us as well, at FPL Cycling Morton and at Matej Simpak, the Czech rep. So yeah, that's the next couple of days. Originally we planned next week to do 2 final previews, one sort of mainly fantasy, the other one mainly talking more like about the football side of it and the tactics, but we decided that might be a bit overkill. So, and we've got FPL content coming up as well in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, we thought we'll keep it just to one preview, but there's no confirmed day yet. It'll be on whichever day both reps can make it. So it'll either be on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Cool. Right, we've got a couple of questions in chat. Rob, did you want to read out the questions, or do you want me to?
Yep. So we've got a question from David that says, "Who is your biggest differential, as in the lowest owned in your team?" Start with Morton. Who would you say your biggest differential at the moment is?
It has to be Vestergaard. I think he's at 1%. So it has to be him.
Matej, who's your biggest differential at the moment?
Yeah, I still have Souček in, so
it's probably so.
I guess it'll be him, but I'll definitely make some changes.
Sham, who's yours?
Mine is Damsgaard, 7%, which is quite low owned, I think.
It is reasonably low owned. Mine is probably going to be Damsgaard as well. Yeah, I think everyone else is really high owned, or maybe Simon. He might be my differential. Hopefully, he can be a hero, a bit like how Benzema was for me. We'll go with we'll take 2 penalty saves, please, Unai, tomorrow evening. And then I'm forgetting that I'm reading the questions now. Another one from David Morton. How much do you think Damsgaard and Mailer's market value has gone up after this tournament?
It's hard to say exactly how much exact value what a transfer would cost now, but obviously they have been performing really well. I know that Mailer just signed recently for Atalanta, so I guess he'll at least stay one more season and be a more regular starter there. And then Damsgaard, I know he's already been, but I've heard that Juventus have been inquiring him. But yeah, I think Sampdoria don't want to sell right now. So yeah, they've obviously gone up, but it's hard to say exactly what amount we're talking.
I think I heard that pre-tournament Damsgaard was valued around 10 to 12 million pounds, so around 15 million euros. You'd think that would be at least double now, wouldn't you?
and probably more as well.
Yeah. Right, another question from David. David's getting all the questions in tonight. How big of a hit would you say would be the max before it becomes excessive if you have like 7 players out? So if you've got 7 out, then it means you've got. Does that 7? Yeah, does that 7 include both your keepers or one keeper? Yeah, I'd be taking a hit.
Well, not necessarily. That if you've got 7 players out, that means potentially you've got 8.
Oh yeah.
You then 3 for 3. Bring in 3 with your 3 subs.
I think it depends who the 3 are. I think you have. If you own Berardi, I think you need to take a hit.
Yeah.
Because although you'd expect Berardi to feature if he doesn't start, that might only be a 1-pointer that you're getting, so you may as well take the hit. And but it depends who for.
Yeah, I mean I've got 8 out plus KDB, so I'm probably going to take a -4 and go to 10 with plus KDB.
Yeah, it's. I think it. Yeah, it depends. I think if that's those 7 out, if it is actually if you added KDB and Berardi to that, and so it was actually like 7/8/9 out, then I'd be trying to just cover myself a little bit, I think. And that's it, I think, for the questions.
Perfect. Right, so that concludes the stream. Morten and Matteo, thank you so much for joining. I'm sure, well, one of you will be coming back. Hopefully, if you guys can make it and you're free on Monday. Yeah, good luck to you both. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
Nothing springs to mind now.
Perfect. Okay, for the viewers and the listeners, thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll be back on Sunday, as Rob discussed earlier. And please like, subscribe, and share our stream. And we'll catch you on Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Night.